Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette, the official shave of the Dallas Cowboys. Here's Nick Eatman.
What's up? Welcome to Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette. Wednesday, May the 6th. And it's time to talk some Cowboys offseason football. This month is going to be rather slow for the Cowboys and all NFL teams, I would imagine. But I know the Cowboys don't have another practice on the field until June. So that's when they start the OTAs, have a couple of weeks of that, and then a mini camp, and then it'll be kind of shut down for about a month until training camp in late July. So we did have a rookie mini camp. It won't take long to discuss how those players looked. Just not a lot of evaluation going on there for a rookie mini camp. But it's good to see the guys. More than anything, you're going to kind of talk to them, get their demeanor a little bit, and that's one thing that was very evident about this rookie class was just how businesslike it was. For these players, and Caleb Downs, starting with him, but then some of the other guys, they're just serious about, football here in the first time here in the building for a lot of them. We'll see if that kind of changes or they open up a little bit, but it was good to see. I mean, it seems like football is a huge priority for them, like it should be. But sometimes you get the sense guys come in and they love what football brings to them. We've had some players like that. In this instance, though, I feel like from the top down, Caleb Downs is going to kind of lead this rookie class the right way. But we can talk about that and a lot more. 888-855-2297. Let's start with Chris in Saratoga Springs. Chris, what's up?
What's going on, Nick? How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. They need to take care of this number situation with Caleb. They need to give him that number 2 so we can sell some jerseys.
Yep. I'm a little surprised it's taken so long. I would think that would be one that they would want to sell right away. You kind of want to strike while the iron's hot, right? And where the excitement is there for this draft pick. And not that it won't, be next week or today, tomorrow, whatever it is. But yeah, I would have gotten this thing done quickly.
I know, agree. I want to just touch base with the trade when we sent Osa to San Fran, got that 3rd round pick. I think we turned that into I love the 3rd round pick in Barsham from Michigan. I think he's going to be a dog in the middle. And then we got LT Overton, which is probably obviously besides Caleb, my man from Ohio State, but one of my favorite picks of the draft. I wanted him going in, and I'm glad we got him. And I think he's very similar and can play a lot of the similar things that Osa could have done. And I think he's going to step right in. So we got a linebacker that's going to be good, I think. And then we got LT Overton for Osa. In reality, we got those 2 players for him, in my opinion, and I think that's going to work out great for us.
Yeah, those are the 2 picks that are very intriguing for me as well, especially Overton. But Barham might be somebody he looks a little out of place at first at linebacker because he's played it some, but not a lot. I think once he gets a little more fluid there, then he's going to be like a beast. I think he has the potential to be that. Now, it's still 3rd round pick, but like you said, he's got the traits for it. He just didn't play it enough, and that happens a lot. And I'll talk about that a little bit more after the call. You got anything else?
No, that's it for today, Nick. I appreciate you taking my call as usual.
Have a good one, man. Thanks for starting us off the right way. It happens a lot in college, and you see it a lot more at the small schools. Not so much at Michigan here with Barham, but you see it where a guy can play corner, but they move him to safety because if you put him at corner, no one's going to ever throw there. So you put him at safety, middle of the field, let him go roam a little bit. I've seen middle linebackers kind of that way. Khalil Mack at Buffalo, University of Buffalo, was sort of that way where he was really more of an edge rusher, but at Buffalo, if the best player's lining up over here, then we're going to go over here, So you got to put these guys in the middle of the field. And I say that about Barham. I think as a guy that can rush the passer, I think that they put him there Same with Overton. They put him as a rusher because that's what you need to get done. But in the NFL, I think probably a better position for them, a little bit more on the inside, which surprises me when you think about that. When you still go back to the Micah Parsons pick and how he played, he played middle linebacker right there as well. They didn't move him to a pass rusher, and it probably cost him some spots in the draft because I think if everyone would have seen just what a pass rusher he really was, they would have drafted him a lot earlier. All right, I'm in Napa Valley. What's up?
What's happening, Nick? Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning to you.
Man, I'm just super excited to get through. I've been busy and just been listening, kind of the playbacks, but the last couple of weeks I tried to get in. And yeah, it was tough, but, man, I'm super happy to hear that, I made it the third team. Thank you for you and Chris, all that you guys do. Happy to be recognized, but it's not really why I call. I just call just because I love talking ball, and man, I love listening to just all of the storyliners and all of the knowledge they give. So, man, thanks to you guys all. It's great.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for being part of it. And a lot of the guys like yourself on the West Coast, it's a lot earlier over there when we start this show. So I appreciate you waking up with us and getting through the line.
Oh yeah, man. Every chance I get, it's when I travel, I've tried to call in. I tried to call in a couple of years ago when I was in Hawaii and didn't get a chance to make it through. My family thinks I'm crazy. My girls think that I'm crazy, that I just spend all this time. I mean, they know who I am around, when it comes game time and when the season's coming around and all of the things, I start breaking out all my gear and, just all the things, right? And they think that I'm crazy, though, with how much attention and time and effort I put into it. But, man, I just grew up loving it. But, what's crazy is that I tell them that there's people that are way more involved and, do way more than I do. Like, I'm just hitting the cusp, and they're just amazed by it. So, but, yeah, very cool stuff. It's just as far as the draft, man, I loved it. Man, I really, again, I've been talking about how I feel like since the Williams trade, I kind of see Jerry's, outlook on everything, shoddy, all of this stuff. I just feel like it's all coming together and it's a plan. There was a lot of talk of maybe they'll go offense, depending on who, how the players fall and stuff. And, I don't think that they ever were planning to go offense. I think they liked some players, but they were planning to go defense, and it looks like that's what they did with only going 2 offensive players with the tackle and the receiver, which I'm not mad at the tackle. We're going to need a tackle eventually. But, yeah, I'm just so excited and hopeful, man. I'm already gearing up for a training camp and all the stuff, man, so can try to make it out to Seattle. Hopefully I can go to the Thanksgiving game this year. So, yeah, a lot of excitement. Feel like we're on the up and up. Downs is going to be awesome.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for the call. A lot of good enthusiasm there, a lot of excitement. And it's kind of what you want to – it's exactly what you want your fan base to be feeling at this time of year. Especially after last year and just how tough it was to go through a season like that, really 2 years in a row now of a 7-win, type season and just not where this team and this franchise should be. We all know that. Everybody knows that from the top down. So to get, the fans on board with just about as much that you could really hope for. Yeah, there's a couple more free agents. I think that, people would have wanted to see maybe linebackers pay a little bit more for some of those guys that went to the Raiders. But, for the most part, I think it's been a good it's been a good offseason for this team. I like the moves that they've made, obviously, in the draft. But even before that, they did what they're supposed to do, fill some of the needs. They didn't do it so much with linebacker before the draft, but then with D Winters, Barham, I think, is going to be a guy to throw in there. And, like I said last week, maybe the last couple of shows, that, you still want your guys to develop. So you don't just want to say, all right, these guys can't play. I think that there's some excitement still for Shamar James. Overshown hasn't ever really had an off season where he hasn't been dealing with an injury. So the fact that Overshown is going to be a guy starting off rather healthy, you got those guys there. Then like I said, Barham and Winters. That's a pretty good start. There may be a need for more, but I think as it stands right now, that's probably a pretty good place. All right, we let's go to break here, an early break on Cowboys Storyline so we can get some phone calls coming in. 888-855-2297 is the number. We'll be right back after this.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, Cowboys fans, this one's for you. Gillette's Best Shave has a new look this season, and they've got one that sticked out in Cowboys colors just for us. We're going to want to run, not walk to this one, y'all. The new Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys licensed razor isn't just Gillette's best shave. With 50% longer lasting blades than Fusion, it's the best a Cowboys fan can get. Get it while you can at Gillette.com/NFL. Gillette's Best Shave is also available as heated.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Back to Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette, the official shave of the Dallas Cowboys.
Gillette's Best Shave is available in cowboy colors, 50% longer lasting blades than Fusion. The new Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys license razor is available at Gillette.com/NFL. All right, back here on Cowboys Storyline. Took an early break here, but now we can kind of get after it. We got some callers. Davion in Illinois. What's up, Davion?
What it do, my boy? What it do?
How you doing?
What's going on? Yeah, man, been catching the replays because the time switches on the show last couple weeks. I couldn't get in because of work, but happy to get on and get off some takes here because it's been a lot going on since the last time I talked.
Yep. What you thinking, man?
Love the draft class. The draft class looking good. I think we, especially the way that getting the Eagles for the 2 picks for Lawrence was great. It's just I love getting over on the Eagles. I just can't stand them. So. I guess
we'll see now. I mean, they've moved up to get Mekhi Lemon, who could be, a beast to handle for years to come. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. Like they got a player too. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But I mean, they got something out of the deal also.
Well, we turned Mike into 5 players so far, and so I'm like, hey, I appreciate that. That's either way how it works out. I think it's gonna be cool. I think the sleeper of the draft might be either the cornerback or Barham.
Mm-hmm.
I think I really like the way Barham is, his demeanor. That's what you want as a linebacker. He's just no nonsense. Let's get after it.
He's kind of on the scary side, if you're really being honest about it. Like, if you're just sitting there talking to him, like, he's got that vibe, which is good. That's kind of what you want your middle linebacker to kind of have some bad intentions like that. Like that's what it looks like. I mean, he might be the nicest guy ever, but he's pretty serious about it, and he's got that stoic look to him, and he's fierce. Yeah, he looks like it's what you want right there.
Right,
sure.
That's the way I would create my Madden linebacker. If I was creating a Madden linebacker, that would be where he got the number 55, and he's just straight. Let's go.
Yeah, you're right.
All gas, no brakes. That's what I like my linebackers to play like. So I'm glad we got the demeanor in the room. and it'd be a nice balance to Demo, because Demo is there. Everybody, Demo is one of my faves, but it'd be good to have them if we both have them at the same time. Oh man,
yeah,
you're talking about that 3-4. Oh boy, that could be real nasty. But so really, I think Devin Moore. I think he's gonna come in and challenge. I don't know. I guess the Dory Jackson like yesterday was just all about just either showing a guy some love or what. I don't know, but because we seem like we got so many corners, we want to add another corner to this. I don't know, but I guess I never was a fan of Dory, so I don't know if I don't know what we were doing that, but it's nice.
Okay.
And I want fans to really chill out. I think Caleb's gonna get his number. I think I think right now that Jones is letting the boys kind of work it out, and if they don't work it out, I think he's gonna get his number. I don't think it's gonna be a big problem there. It's just I know it's slow time, so people got to make up stuff to go. So it's but I think Caleb's gonna get that number because it's just too much money there to be made for him not to have that number.
Yeah.
And man, I'm really excited about trying to get him into Bennington. I'm glad GP signed the tag, so we can get that drawn behind us and we can kind of move forward. We'll see him in June, and yeah, man, just really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks while we kind of down to kind of see what's going to develop. But I don't think so far no big time drama.
Right.
So far, so that's oh man, that's such a
good thing.
Refreshing.
Yeah.
All right. I still don't understand why people are really tripping on Ferg, because I think we need to calm down on Trigg. He's going to be good, but I don't think he's going to supplant Ferg just that quick. I mean, he's going to probably take out Schoonmaker. But
anybody saying that? Is anybody really saying that? Legitimate.
Yeah. They think he's going to challenge Ferg. I was like, I don't think so. But okay. I mean, the hype train is there, Nick.
I get it. There was 237 draft picks that went by that nobody decided to pick him. So I would slow that down just a little bit, that he's going to come in and unseat a 2-time Pro Bowler. But I mean, that's not where it needs to be. Like, he needs to come in here and be better than Brevin Spanford and better than Schoonmaker and Princeton Fant and those tight ends that are in there, and better than I think it's Rodgers, the other free agent, tight end. So, if I remember correctly, the guy that got the most money last year from any free agent signing, and I don't think I could even say his name. Was it Fairweather? I can't remember.
Yeah.
From Auburn?
Yeah, it was Fairweather. Yeah, Fairweather. He's in Arizona now, but yeah, he's
So
they get them tight ends. They love their tight ends. They let them tight ends in undrafted market. So,
but measurables and playmaking ability and all that is outstanding. But he hasn't landed in a spot now. He hasn't played, I think, on a team for more than a year. So I mean, there's a reason why that everyone wants to sign him, and then there's also a reason why they're okay letting him go. So. That's just something he's got to, grow up, mature, like all these guys do.
Yeah,
all right,
I think he's gonna be fine.
All right, Davion, thanks for the call, man. A lot of good stuff there. Yeah, I haven't heard that as far. I've heard the excitement about Trigg, but not to the point where he's going to beat out anybody anytime soon. And that but if that's the goal, great. Because if his goal is to do that, and as long as it's done the right way, then. Landing this, third spot, second spot, that would be a pretty good situation. We'll see what happens with Schoonmaker. I know everybody's kind of, he's in a contract year. Everyone's kind of writing him off, but we've seen these situations before. I'm not really down on him that much. He hasn't been what you would expect out of a second-round pick. There's no doubt about it. And Ferguson's a big reason why. I mean, when we just look at the games that Schoonmaker has started in place of Ferguson, you would be okay with these numbers. They're not outstanding, but you'd be okay with them. 5 or 6 catches, he gets that, in those games. So it's been okay, but just not like dynamic or anything like that. Pretty good blocking tight end. But, right now there's not 100% sure that Spanford can't do some of those same things. All right, let's keep the calls going. Irene in Falls Church, New York is next. Irene.
Oh, Falls Church, New York.
Did I say
Really
New
like
York?
it.
Oh, Virginia. Falls
Yeah,
Church,
I like
Virginia.
that. I like that. That's cool.
I bet you there is a
Anyway,
Falls Church. I mean, there's
Probably.
probably a church near Niagara Falls. So that's,
Exactly.
yeah. In fact, I mean, isn't that where Jim and Pam got married in the office? Something like that. Anyways, I'm
Oh,
going.
that's
I'm going
there you
all
go. I
over
love
the
it.
place. All right.
I love it.
Irene in Virginia. I'm sorry. What's up?
That's all good. How's it going?
Good.
Good. So I'll comment on the Trigg stuff. So I am kind of excited about him because some people had him like their third tight end on the board. And I know there's off the field stuff, and we've seen that happen with Rico Suave, where he had all the athletic traits, but couldn't put it together. Although for him, I think he was much more raw at the position. So there's a little bit more hope for me on this. But I'm trying this year not to get so hyped about wide receiver 6 or undrafted free agents. I'm excited, but temperate, right? But I had two things I wanted to call about. Did anybody talk about the false step with Malachi Lawrence yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, no. Sorry. Okay, so I had to have Dylan sent me video to tell me what this actually was, but apparently Malachi Lawrence basically has like this hitch before he gets off in his 2-point stance where he lifts his front foot, so it's delaying him a little bit. And I don't want to go into technicalities. That obviously slows him down. But I love that he brought it up in his interview that the coaches during rookie minicamp, that was something they focus on. So they're like, okay, we see all your potential. Here's a flaw. Let's start right there. So I love that. I don't feel like I'm sure they do this, but I liked actually hearing that, okay, they're working on something immediately. And then for my prediction, I guess, for the defense, there's been a lot of talk about, oh my gosh, we could be top 12. I think Broadus said that, top 10, whatever. I think more realistic is something like 18, which would be a dramatic improvement. And that's not any shot against any of the players we've gotten or Christian Parker. It's just more, how do you launch to top 10 or 12 in year one, right? I think there's potential, but I'd be happy with 18. And then I wanted to ask besides the big one that we don't want to say out loud, what would be the biggest risk of a setback for the offense? Because I feel like we have most of the people back, and I think we're taking for granted that we're still going to be a top 5. And I was trying to think, like, is it defenses adjusting to us? Is it, okay, Shoddy has his bag of tricks, he hasn't expanded? Like, what do you think besides the one that, of course, would derail anything? And I'll take that off there.
All right.
Thanks,
Irene. Good. A lot of good stuff there. For the last part, I mean, what you have going for you is just the fact that you've got multiple weapons that can scare a defense. I mean, you just can't play straight up with CD. You can't really play straight up with Pickens. And so what happens then? Who checks? Ferguson, is it just linebacker? Because that's where he can really go to work. Ryan Flanoy could be taking it to the next level. His game, and then obviously Turpin's got world-class speed, so you put him out there, and then he can be a mismatch. Not to mention the running game with Javonte. So I say all that to say that's what is going for you there is just all of these weapons, this pick-your-poison type of offense. And if that's not there, if it's not as potent with all of the things, then obviously that's where it gets it gets challenging. But I still think this offense, though, is going to be cooking. I mean, we saw look at the Detroit game, the one that they lost. But if you just go back, CD was having a day. I mean, he really was. He may not remember it, but he was having a day. Did get the concussion, not to make light of that. That was a serious thing. I think he was okay. That the Cowboys, and like they should, were very, very cautious on that. But Flanoy steps in. The rest of the game, Flanoy has a breakout game as well. And so I think it just goes to show that the offense can be really, really good. And as long as they've got all of those weapons, then I think that's where they can be dangerous. To your question, to me, it's when you start losing some of this, you start dipping into the depth, and then that's where it's going to be a challenge because their defense obviously is not or hasn't been able to kind of keep up there. Now you said 18 whatever. right now they're all at 0. You know what I mean? It's all at the bottom. We'll see from there what type of team this is, and maybe if the offense can come down but control the football. Even if they're not the highest scoring team, but if they control the ball even more, that's what's going to help the defense. The defense might have better numbers just from the simple fact that the offense controls it more with a little bit more time of possession. And then as far as that hitch goes with Malachi Lawrence, I like that he's coming in the door, knowing the things he's got to work on. That it's a business now. It's not, well, I guess it is now in college football too. It's very much a business, but you got other things going on. This is your profession. This is what you do, and you go in and you fix these things. Cowboys had a center 20 years ago that was a pretty good center, but every single snap he was doing something with his other hand, and everybody knew that the snap was about to happen, so they had to come and fix that, and that can be problematic because people watch tape too. All right, Lester in Minnesota, what's up, Lester? No, William in West Virginia. Sorry, William.
Hey, Nick. How we doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. First of all, I want to give a shout-out to our old buddy Rob Phillips. I was just really glad to see about his book, Strollers and Stakeouts, and I hope everybody goes and gets a copy of it because, like I said, I miss Rob being on the platform. He's a really great guy. I still keep up with him and everything. But
Rob wrote a book?
He did. He wrote a book.
I'm just kidding.
Yes, he did.
I'm playing.
Come on. I know you know that.
It's sitting up in my office right now. I actually went to a bookstore over the weekend, and I asked them for it. I asked them for the copy, and they looked it up, and they're like, we don't have any. We're going to get some and all this stuff. And they're like, man, I could play this in order for you. I was like, no, I already have a copy. I just wanted to see where it was. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's called Stakeouts and Strollers, and the cover can be a little deceiving because it looks like it's kind of it's a cartoon type picture, but it's not. It's a novel, and it's got some F-bombs thrown in there too. So I was like, okay, Rob. No, I'm really proud of him, and I mean, he won a contest to get that to get the book off the ground, and so now. It's hitting the shelves. So it's an awesome thing.
I mean, he could start catching you a number of books before it's all said and done.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be well. You know what? The novel that that he wrote actually can be a series, and I think he's gonna start working on that. So yes, he can. But I'll have some news to drop there as well too. So he did gain one on me, but I'm about to add another one to the mix here in the next couple of weeks, a couple of months. I got to get after it. So
if these walls could talk, part two.
No, the walls aren't talking for now. But if they do, that it'll be a different set of walls around here. We might do that actually. Because when I wrote the first book, If These Walls Could Talk, I know you're not talking about books, but when I wrote that first book, it was after I've been here 15 years. So if I get to 30, which is just a couple of years away, maybe the walls need to talk again for a part 2 edition. Maybe Dak on the cover this time.
I'd be all for that. But now my question is basically, would you think a comparison of George Pickens and Alvin Harper would be fair? Because I think it's probably the most explosive duo they've had since that. I would just want to see what your thought was on that. But like you said, I've got your first book, and I'll get a copy of the next one when it comes out. You know that.
Say that again. Well, what was the question that you had?
Would you compare? When I see George Pickens, I think Alvin Harper. Would you think that'd be a fair comparison, or would it be a bit more explosive? Because that was probably the most explosive duo they've had since maybe Irvin and Harper, and then Tony Hill and Drew Pearson. Just my thoughts. Just wanted to get your take on that because you're a historian of the game like me, and I just thought, maybe I'd like to get your take on that.
Well. All right, I appreciate the call. Thanks. Let me see about Alvin Harper. I can't hear you. Our headset went out. So that you're talking about Alvin Harper. Chris, help me with the tech in the chat here about who he's trying to compare it to. And we're gonna go to break. We're gonna go to break real quick, and we come right back. I'll answer that question off the air.
All right, Cowboys fans, this one's for you. Gillette's Best Shave has a new look this season, and they've got one that sticked out in Cowboys colors just for us. We're going to want to run, not walk to this one, y'all. The new Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys licensed razor isn't just Gillette's best shave. With 50% longer lasting blades than Fusion, it's the best a Cowboys fan can get. Get it while you can at Gillette.com/NFL. Gillette's Best Shave is also available as heated.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette, the official shave of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, welcome back to Cowboys Storyline. This segment is officially licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops concession and on Yeti.com. All right, we'll get the show back on the road here. Sorry for that. I'm sorry, William, in West Virginia. I actually unplugged the headset here, so I was trying to listen off this headset. I just heard Alvin Harper. I don't know who you'd be comparing Alvin Harper to. Probably wasn't George Pickens, so I don't really know. I apologize on that. Let's keep it rolling. Lester in Minnesota.
Hey, good morning, Nick.
How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. How you doing out there?
Good. What's up?
Hey, man. I think I looked at some college ratings, and I know that doesn't all the way transfer to the NFL, but I looked at some college ratings, and then I looked at looked at some ratings of some players that we kept from last year. I think, and I'm speaking on the defense part, the ratings that I'm mentioning, I think that we could get up to 19, man, with what I'm seeing and what I envision that Parker is going to do. I'm not exactly sure what he's going to do, but from what he said, and like I said, I'm a defensive guy, so I'm saying we can get up to 19, man. Right. I'm real impressed with the things that our first round pick people have said about him. Saban, was his coach when he was a freshman, and I saw a little video on the reaction of neighbors from the Giants, and when we picked Caleb, his reaction, it was so funny, man. He got up out of his chair because he was sitting in the chair and he was talking to somebody. He said, "Man, I don't want to have to deal with this guy again." He said, "Man, we should have picked him. I told them to pick him." So with that sort of reaction, man, I'm just like real excited about this guy, man. I mean, I
like it. I like that a wide receiver is worried about a safety that the Cowboys have. Yeah. Now, he might, he needs to be a little careful there because they did take an offensive tackle that they're trying to shore up the line so the quarterback can have a little bit more room to throw it, more time to throw it to the receivers like him. So, you shouldn't be that upset. It's not like they didn't try to help his side of the ball too, but I get it.
That's just showing respect, though, from one player to another. Usually players don't react like that. They'll say, "Oh, yeah, he's a good player. We got to look out for him." But this guy was visibly upset.
Yeah, that's funny. Well,
that's all I got, man. Go Cowboys, man.
All right, Lester. All right, have a good one. Yeah, and it happens all the time. I mean, you think about how many times the Cowboys have seen the Giants and the Commanders drafting in the top 10. I mean, there's a lot of good players that have gone through to these teams, and it's just the nature of it. I mean, they've earned those top picks, and then they're going to get good players, and that happened. I mean, the Cowboys got to deal with. I wonder what it was like for Terrence Steele or Tyler Guyton to see Reese go into the Giants. Like, oh man, I got to deal with this guy, But that's just kind of the nature of it. But there's no doubt Caleb Downs has got just a lot of respect around the league, and he's not the biggest guy in the world. I mean, that's one thing that very noticeable here at camp. I'm not saying he's he's too short. It's Bud Webb running around there, but I'm just saying that he's, when he's been pumped up so much over the last few, weeks, really months, that when you get him, you're like, oh my God, get this guy, and then you're expecting he's going to be 6'4", 230, and that's not it. That's not what he plays with. But he'll be just fine. But I think, just my first impression was I thought he was a little taller than this. And even when he came in, in his first visit, he had this hat really high and all that. So you didn't really see all that. Put the helmet on, went out there with the other players. I was a little surprised that he was not taller, but not worried that he's not going to be a baller. I mean, I'm not trying to rap here, but that's just the way it went out. Dylan, Northport, Florida. Dylan, what's up?
That was pretty sick, rappy. But have you seen his thighs, man?
His what?
His thighs, his legs are like the size of Saquon Barkley's.
Okay. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't get there, but
not checking that out.
I didn't get there, but I'm not worried at all because I know who did. Every team in the league has, that's what happens with these picks. They dissect everything, and no, he'll be fine. He's going to be a great player, and I just love the fact that I know he's going to come in and study. Like, he's going to come in and just love to watch film, and that's what's going to make you better. And he's going to find, like y'all talk about the Malachi Lawrence and whatever hitch he's got, he's going to find it in the tight end with, the Cardinals or whoever, maybe not Trey McBride, but you know what I'm talking about. Just somebody, he's just going to find something as an advantage, and I think that's really going to help this defense.
Yeah, and what's cool about having a guy like that who's going to be hopefully a cornerstone for this team for the next decade, it's your leaders on the team are he's going to be, we all think, a great player, but he's also going to, he's going to show the qualities and what it takes because you're right, he is kind of an undersized guy, not like by a crazy amount, but he's a smaller guy, but he's going to show these dudes you can be an elite player if you do these things right, you study right, you take your job as a professional seriously, and everything he does, that's the kind of guy you want, a guy who leads on the field and off the field. So excited to have him kind of on all fronts. But I wanted to talk about what Irene was talking about, the offensive risk. A couple things here. I think your risk is your tackles. I think we all know the tackle play has not been acceptable over the past season, 2 seasons. So if they're going to take a step back offensively, I think it's because of the risk that the offensive tackles pose here not being the best. Guyton just has to make it through a camp healthy, and we'll see if he can start to develop into something. But first things first, just get through camp healthy. As the defensive rankings, we keep talking about that. I just want to share, in 2023, 2022, 2021, the Cowboys were ranked 5th and 7th defensively in points allowed, and we all know the weakness of those teams was the defense, right? I think at the end of the day. So I don't think it's as important as rankings goes. You just need a defense who, like, if the offense is struggling, it's not 21-0 by halftime, or defense that can just get a stop at some point and get the offense back to go and get you in field goal range. Like, I don't really care about the rankings. I just need a professional quality defense that can help out every now and then.
Yeah,
that's, I think, a great starting point for this team. Honestly,
that's what's crazy is that, like, all these numbers and all that, like you said, I'm glad you pointed that out because you just gave some proof that having high numbers doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be good enough. But it just comes down to, like, can you just get off the field? I mean, how many times, where you're playing like Justin Herbert or something, and it's like 4th and 4, and they're going to go for it, and you're like, we're not going to stop them. Like, you're just not. You just know you're not. But if you're on offense and you've got CD and Dak and Pickens and it's 4th and 4, you're like, man, 4 yards is a lot. Like, that's God, maybe we should punt, But on the other side with this Cowboys defense, you were like, they're not stopping them. I mean, there's been times when I was wondering why last year the teams didn't just go for 2 more because I just didn't think they were going to stop them,
Yeah. Yeah, and when we look at those teams, those defenses were perceived to be, solid defenses, and they weren't bad, but their success was predicated upon the offense jumping out quickly and putting up a bunch of points because they couldn't stop the run, which has been an issue for a long time now. I think we're finally better in that regard. But I just need a professional quality defense, man, that can hold their own every now and then and just give this team a chance where it's not all on the offense. And that's all I care about, dude. That's all I want, and I think we'll have that moving forward.
Yeah. All right, Dylan. Thanks for the call. Cool. I'm glad you said that because numbers can sometimes not tell all the story, and the Cowboys have had some good defenses throughout the regular season, and then they've lost games in the playoffs, particularly the one with the Packers, where they just had no answers there. And so it does come down to mismatches at times, but I still feel like it's a mindset, and I do think Christian Parker's going to help with that, with the mindset, and get it to the point where this defense won't be as predictable. Now, the players are going to have to be good enough to be multiple. You can't just say we're going to be multiple because Rob Ryan's defenses way back in the day, they were multiple. I mean, they would run 2 or 3 defenses, like in a month. They were like, well, this game, we're going to do this. It was always trying to throw some different kind of gadget out there, and the players just weren't good enough to understand all of that. I mean, it's not easy to do that and keep changing it up. So there's got to be a give and take there. You don't want to have the same vanilla defense all the time that everybody can understand, but at the same time, it's got to be kind of back and forth. And so I think that Christian Parker will be able to do that. But then again, he's never called defense either. I mean, like it's still new. And same with Caleb Downs. I mean, the people that were having high expectations for have never called defense in the league. They've never played in the league. So we'll see. I mean, I think that everyone knows that they're going to be good, but they haven't gotten there yet. And that's what's going to be the fun of it, I think, this season. It's just watching these guys kind of learn and grow together. And if the offense continue to do what they've done on that side of the ball, then I think it's going to be a really good turnaround for this team. Eric in Arkansas. Eric, what's up?
Man, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Man, I can't complain. I tell you what, I think this is one of the first times in a long time that we actually was proactive instead of reactive in our draft picks, even moving up to number 11 to make sure we get downs. Mm-hmm. All these things are happening now. And the players, if you listen to their interviews, man, they get it. They talking about film. They talking about the playbook, wanting the playbook and learn the plays. That's a different route that we haven't taken in a long time. Yeah. And concentrating on defense, man, the defense killed us last year. It was horrible. I mean, we should have been ranked 33rd. I know it's only 32 teams, but we were terrible, man.
Yeah.
And to get a guy like Downs, who's going, barring any injuries, going to be your cornerstone for a while. And we haven't had a leader on defense, on the defensive side. I mean, come on, in a long time. I mean, we wanted Parsons to be the leader, but Parsons was really that type of. He wasn't a leader like that.
No, he was not.
These guys, no. These guys here, you can hear it and you can feel it. Anybody been around sports know that these guys are going to be leaders.
Yeah,
and they're going to be the cornerstone.
That's a really good point, Eric. I mean, you're right, and you can be a great player. Doesn't mean you're a leader,
right?
But it's hard though to be a leader without being a great player. I mean, you know what I mean? That's difficult. I've seen some players around here that were like really good, had leadership qualities. One of them is now a coach in the NFL, but he was here on this team, and he just he couldn't be a leader because he was third team.
Right.
Who's going to look at that? So it happens. I mean, there's another player that comes to mind that was, good, solid player, but he wasn't like a leader. And if you think about it, when you ask, who are the greatest leaders in the history of sports? I mean, it's usually Hall of Fame guys, Hall of Famers. Yeah. So you've got to be good enough there. And Micah Parsons was great enough, but it just wasn't his style. And I'm not going to sit here and kill him for it. I mean, that wasn't his thing. But I think Caleb Downs, I think it is his thing.
Yeah. Well, here's the good thing about it is, we usually, when we get a guy like Downs, he would have to be come in naturally being the leader. But you already have like Williams. You have you have guys that already done it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So Clark, Williams, Clark, those guys are going to be, your cornerstones, your leaders. But they're just going to learn from them as well how to keep their body right and things of that nature.
Yeah,
so that's
great. That's a great point. And this whole safety room is right now. Malik Hooker's still here. I think he still will be, but you got Jalen Thompson, you got PJ Locke.
Yeah.
I mean, they have overhauled that position as good as any position on this team. So he's going to learn from some of those guys too. Malik Hooker, first round pick from Ohio State, and he was 15, 14, something like that, several years ago with the Colts. But, and his career didn't turn out like you would imagine. So it's a good example, too, that, just because you're picked here and all the expectations doesn't mean it's going to work out. But I still think Caleb Downs is going to come into this room and learn from some of these vets.
Yeah, I mean, the defense, I think, is going to – I mean, we always said last year we want to be middle of the road, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm giving them that. Yeah, I don't want to put a lot of high expectations on them because it is going to be a learning curve. Mm-hmm. But man, to see where we are now is just going to be from the players that we had. We couldn't name. I couldn't name half the starters last year because I'm like, who is this guy? Who is number 27? Who is that? You know, I'm like, who is this? But now these guys, man, like I said, I'm excited about it. My only concern is the whole thing, not just defense, is our backup quarterback. I hope that we can kind of get that solidified. I like Milton, but he has to show some changes. He got to show some improvement this year.
Okay.
I know we got Howard, but we still have to show some improvement on that backup because anything can happen.
Sure. No, you're right, and that's probably what Irene was alluding to in the last call about things that could derail it, and that's going to derail just about any team in the league if something like that happens. But it's up to Dak to for starters, get his body right, and try to you can't avoid the weird stuff that happens, that fluky things, but I think the Cowboys trust that he's definitely doing that. But behind him, I mean, there's been been seasons where they've had to go into the backup spot. I think Hal started games, didn't have the most success, but he has started games. I can promise he hasn't had this kind of talent around him, and Milton will continue to progress and develop as well. So I don't think it's a terrible spot, honestly, for this team to have guys that have played in the league, that they've started, and they'll be they're relatively young and push each other. I think it's a pretty good situation to have. All right, Erwin in Colorado is our next caller. Erwin.
Good morning. Morning, Nick. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey,
those Avalanche still scoring goals over there?
Yeah, I think they are.
Wow.
A little bit of snow up here. It's kind of crazy. It's been snowing for the last 12 hours.
No, I'm talking about the hockey team.
No, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, because we're not talking weather. We're talking hockey.
Right.
Heaven forbid we're talking about weather, but let's talk about hockey. No, I was just I've been watching it a little bit. I was bummed the Stars didn't make it, but, man, I don't know if they would have done anything against the Avalanche, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Hockey
we'll
talk
see.
Here on Storyline. All right, what you got, Erwin?
Yeah, so just a couple things, Nick. I was watching that clip. I'm sure most people did of, it came down to the last, 10 seconds before the Cowboys got that pick in with Caleb Downs. It was kind of crazy. It reminded me years ago when Minnesota did that, and they didn't make their pick in time, and teams were jumping over them, and it was just kind of crazy. But the other thing I wanted to touch on, I don't know how you feel about it, or most storyliners and fans, is, man, I'm really worried about this Christian Parker moving on here in the next year or two. It sounds like he's really going to – yeah, I'm just kind of worried that he's going to do some really good things here. And you know how it is every year. It's almost the same teams. They don't give their coaches a chance. They fire them after a year or two, and then they're rehiring coaches. It's basically the same teams. I just feel like Christian Parker is going to come in here, in a year or two, and he's going to do some really good things, and he's going to get plucked from us. I don't know what you think about it.
Well, I mean, I look at it like that's a great thing, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, no, it is a great thing. I'm sure that most coaches want.
It's almost like Stephen Jones saying, "Guys, I'm really worried about this Caleb Downs contract situation in 3 or 4 years because he's going to come in here, he's going to be the best in the league, and now we're going to have to pay all this money for him." I'm like, all right, well, isn't that a good problem to have? I mean, you deal with it when you deal with it, but if that's the case, he's not going to do it. I can tell you, Eberflus didn't get a job like that. You know what I mean? And neither did Zimmer, based off of what they. So my point is that to do that, you're going to reap some benefits, and the benefits are going to be defense is going to be turning things around. And if he's going to move on that quick, that means it made a huge turnaround. I think you just deal with that. That's the way I take it. I mean, I don't. That's just kind of the way life is. I mean, yeah, you don't. I don't know. You don't like.
Yeah, it just seems like when we get a good coach or something like that, things start going our way. Like 30 years, something happens where we end up losing them, and it's just right back to ground zero again. That's what sucks about it.
I get it, but I mean, I think that's pretty premature. I mean, Irvin, have you ever called a defense in the NFL?
Oh,
I haven't. And guess who else has
no
it?
way.
Christian Parker. So let's let him call a defense or two before we say, oh my God, he's about to get out the door. Let's just see. I know this. There's a little bit of a sentiment about that going around too. Like let's slow down a little bit on all of them. I mean, Caleb, Christian Parker. I mean, all of these guys because their excitement is real, but there's going to be a learning curve.
Yeah, you make a good point there. You never know what he's going to bring. It could be a complete bust, and he could be like great things. So you just never know. It's complete true.
I don't think he's going to be a complete bust. He's smart and he knows how to. He's a good teacher, and that's not just. I mean, that's important for all of us. If you have kids, you understand just how important it is for, what a really good teacher can do. Not just to teach you how to do it, but the confidence along the way. I think he's going to be good. I think he relates to the players well. But, again, Shoddy said all the right things last year, too. And then, it got to the season. And I'm not saying he didn't do a good job, but, I mean, it was tough. I don't think anyone was expecting him to just win 7 games last year. So there could be a little bit of a learning curve for him as well.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks a lot for taking my call, Dave.
Thank you. I'm watching NFL Network here. They're talking about the notable Cowboys defensive additions, and, they needed them. I mean, when you look at Caleb Downs, Malachi Lawrence, Quinnen Williams came in middle of the year, Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark from last year, D. Winters. But, as far as Gary and Winters and Downs, and then another year of Quinnen Williams is kind of like a half. I mean, he came in here and he did some good things, but I think a whole offseason with this system, I think, him and Kenny Clark together, I think it's like almost like getting a new player, healthy Overshown in the offseason. I mean, that's relatively new. Knock on wood on Deron Bland, Revel. I mean, just think about that. I mean, like this is definitely glass half full, but just think about if Savon Revel develops into the type of corner that people were expecting him to be before his injury, which was pretty much first round type pick. If he gives you that, that would be a huge steal, and it would be one that the Cowboys should get credit for because that's kind of what they've done. They've done that in the past. They take these draft picks. There's a risk reward, and we've seen the risk. Let's see if it's time for the reward. All right, JR in Avondale, Arizona. JR.
Hey, what's up, Nick? How you doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
Hanging in there.
All right.
So, we're talking about the defense, and the defense is that when when he was there, they turned the ball over, and I think we missed that last year. And I think this defense doesn't have to be a top 15, top 10 defense, but they need to get the turnovers because that's going to help the offense. Because now It's a lot different going 35 yards versus going 75, 80 yards, if you know what I mean. I like the players they got. I think they drafted a certain type of player. I think these guys are all good tacklers. They're all the defensive guys, all good tacklers, and they're violent. When they tackle you, they tackle you. And I think I was listening to I think it was Mick Shots yesterday and Nate was on, and Nate Newton said, yeah, and he saw the rookies, and none of those guys had beer bellies. And he's talking about what kind of shape these guys are in. And I think they've got a certain player. They don't miss tackles. They're violent. They're aggressive, and they love football. And last thing I got, a wide receiver. I really like Anthony Smith. I think he's going to make the team. And I think Jonathan Mingo's days are probably numbered, depending on what they're cute for a receiver. So that's all I got today. Got to go to physical therapy now. And have a great day, Nick, and go Cowboys.
All right. Thanks for the call. Good luck with the PT. You mentioned the guys coming in good shape. I mean, that's I think that's most players now, and that's kind of the way it goes. It's funny that Nate would say that about didn't see the beer bellies. I mean, Cowboys would definitely take one if it meant they could have a Pro Bowl guard, 6-time Pro Bowler that could likely be in the Hall of Fame in Nate Newton. But it's been a good a good turnaround with the additions that they've thrown in on defense. I agree with that about being good tacklers. What I've said this before, and forgive me if I said this maybe last week, but I like the fact that you've got multiple type players, these tweeners, because I really think that is the key. There's two things that you have to play this type of scheme. You can't just be multiple and just say that's what we're going to do. You have to learn everything, so you have to be smart. And I think they've added some really smart players, especially on defense. And then I think that there are also guys that can play multiple positions. So the fact that we didn't even know where Barham was going to play, and we still may not, but when he was drafted, you were like, well, what is he? And we had our social media team putting out a graphic going, well, what is this guy? Is he a linebacker? Are we saying D end? Are we saying edge? What are we saying here? What about Overton? What are we saying? How about DL? How about just D line? I don't know. I mean, because he's going to play defensive end, but it's a defensive end in the 3-4, which is really more of a defensive tackle. He played edge at Alabama, but he's going to slide inside and play tackle. And so, he's a defensive lineman. And, and I think Barham's a linebacker. And Caleb Downs is a safety, but he's going to be playing some corners, so he's a DB. But I think what they are football players. I mean, I think that's what it is. They drafted football players, and they're going to figure out kind of where they go. Sebastian, Savannah, Georgia. What's up?
Good morning, sir. How do you do?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. I'll get right to it because I know how hard it is to get in here. I feel like personally the hype and just the expectations for Caleb right now are a little bit too high because he's a rookie safety. I think I would feel different if he was defensive, like the number one defensive end coming in,
right?
Because then he would have a direct impact on the quarterback all the time. But what I called to talk about is some of the veterans. I'm looking at this roster, and if the Cowboys are looking to turn a little fast, some of our veterans are going to be on the bubble this year. So who are some veterans that you think are on the bubble? My first two, well, the one that I have most right now is Kavonte Turpin, because with the emergence of Flournoy last year, Kavonte Turpin didn't really bring too much to the team that can't be replaced. And I know for a fact they say 3.4 if they cut him June 1st, after June 1st. So who are some veterans who have to look out during this training camp? In your opinion? You have a good day.
All right. Thank you. I don't put Turpin in that group. Flournoy can come in and do whatever he's going to do, and I think that's not going to really change what Turpin does. I think Turpin is your fourth receiver, and I think if two guys, knock on wood, got hurt in a game or in the week leading up to the game, I still think he's going to be your fourth receiver. I mean, I think he's just got a role that is what it is. Let's not forget what he does as a return specialist. how dynamic could Turpin be? Turpin had 55 punt return yards last year. He had like 1,800 kickoff return yards or whatever it was. Set a Cowboys record for most yards in a season by any player, just all-purpose yards. But 55 punt return yards. I mean, Cowboys couldn't get off the field. They couldn't force punts, and when they did, it wasn't enough field for the punter to actually get it out there where Turpin could do something with. So you need a defense that can get some stops. I mean, let's kick off to start the game. Defer, kick off. How about a 3-and-out? How about something like that? Then the punter standing around his 5-yard line and he punts it. There's Turpin way back there. Good luck. Just kick it deep. Try to get some field position and let Turpin in the open field. That just didn't happen enough. I think if the defense can get better, I think Turpin's better. I that's not a guy on my list as far as that goes. So I'm not answering your question, I guess. A veteran player that needs to kind of watch out. Well, I mean, easy one there would be Schoonmaker, right? I mean, this is going into his 4th year. He's got Brevin Spanford there. Trigg is got every fan base all excited. I mean, that would be one that, you got to be careful of that. Hooker, obviously with the draft in there. That I can't really think of too many others that are, that would a veteran player that you'd have to worry about. I mean, there'll be some, and there'll be some, 4th, 5, 6-year guys. I mean, I don't know where Kalen Carson falls under that. This is his 3rd year. Hadn't played a whole lot. But, I mean, there's guys that have been around a little bit that their spots just aren't guaranteed at this point. All right, let's go, Chris, in San Angelo.
Mr. Nick, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm on the phone with you, so the day's starting out really well.
Appreciate it.
You betcha, buddy. As far as mine, I was going to go defense. Dylan and Eric really wiped me out with their thoughts on what I was going to say, but I will add to what Dylan said about the defense. I mean, I'm thinking just being more opportunistic with some turnovers and a lot more big stops is going to go quickly into turning this defense around in a big way. So I'll say that. But what I was going to say is, you said let's quit, hopping up Parker and down so much. So I guess this is the off season. I guess that's pretty much just what I'm going to do. Listening to Coach Parker and watching him, I just get this feeling that this guy, he's not going to fail as a defensive coordinator. I just feel that. And what I was going to ask you is, they're still looking for this red dot or just the setting up the defense on the field. My first thought was, well, you drafted that guy first with Downs. I mean, apparently he already knows the playbook top to bottom, and he's smart and all that. But do you think maybe that would be putting too much on his shoulders to let him do that? Or do you think it might be a better idea just to let him kind of float around and do his thing?
Yeah.
I was just wondering what you thought about that one.
Yeah. I think there's a reason. Thanks, Chris, for the call. I think there's a reason most linebackers make the calls, mainly because of where they are located on the field. I mean, that's a lot of it, right? I mean, you're able to go in there and hit the defensive tackle, slide him just a little bit this way, or say something to the edge, or turn around and say something to the safety, something like that, as opposed to the safety. It's making calls and adjustments on the fly. Watch for this. Well, he can't tell the defensive tackle that, And let's be honest, if you've been down on the field before, I mean, there's been times where I've stood next to somebody and couldn't say anything, couldn't even hear what they're saying. Happens sometimes in those open press boxes like that too. So, it's hand signals and stuff, but I think for the most part, it's kind of proximity. I think he can handle it, Downs, but I don't know the smart thing would probably just to have your middle linebacker do it, and there'll be some competition to see who's gonna pick it up, and it's a race now. It's not just a, let's see what happens at training camp. Let's see what happens now. Let's see who learns this defense the quickest, who understands, who has a good grasp of what everyone's position is, and now that's something that can happen right now. Let me go back before we end this show. Let me say one more thing about the Christian Parker and Caleb Downs and the hype train and all that. I don't want to get it twisted. I'm not saying not to be hyped over him. I'm not saying not to be excited, but let's just, it is what it is. I mean, he's still new to this. He hasn't done it before. I mean, if you have kids like I do, and a lot of you guys do have kids, treat it like that. Like you're excited for what they're doing in their development. They're not perfect. They're going to make mistakes, but call it for what it is. And let's not. What happens is this overhype. Then the first game of the season, they give up, 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, and it's like, oh, this guy. Boy genius, huh? And it's unfair to him. He needs to develop. He needs to learn on the fly, just like everybody. Same with Caleb Downs. He's probably going to give up a big play. That doesn't mean he's not going to be a Pro Bowl type player, even as a rookie. But it's going to happen, and I think that's what happens. We're all so quick to just judge people, and we're judging these guys before they've done anything. Do I think Caleb Downs is going to be a great safety? I do. This year, I think he's going to be great. I think Christian Parker is going to be really, really good for this defense, and I think he's going to be an outstanding coach. I'm not saying he's ready to go take another job. It's kind of funny. We've kind of gotten so far ahead of now. One of the callers was worried about him taking a job. Hey, if that means the Cowboys have done some great things and some of these coaches are up for other jobs, it usually means that the team has had a lot of success, and so that's a trade-off I think you're willing to have. All right, guys. Thanks for calling in for the show today. Apologize. It was not our best show. I put a lot of that on me. Didn't start out well. Had some hiccups there. I'll take responsibility for that. We'll get better. It was an off-season show. We'll get better as we continue to go. So come back with us next Wednesday. We'll do it again next Wednesday on Cowboy Storyline. For Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We'll see you then.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this?